Welcome back guys to Real Talk, where we break down the best in movies, TV and everything in between. Today we're diving into one of the most haunting and influential horror franchises of the 21st century, the 28 Days Later saga. And now, after nearly 2 decades, the nightmare is about to continue with 28 years later. It's time to look back at the journey so far, explore what we know about the upcoming sequel, and speculate on what the future holds for this terrifying world of rage and survival. Let's get started. 28 Days Later exploded onto the horror scene in 2002, directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland. This wasn't your typical zombie movie. In fact, Boyle's infected weren't even technically zombies. The rage virus turned its victims into hyper-aggressive, bloodthirsty monsters, giving the genre a much-needed shot of adrenaline. Shot largely on digital cameras, the film had a raw, gritty aesthetic that made the collapse of society feel disturbingly real. Cillian Murphy's performance as Jim, waking up to a desolate London, became one of the most iconic opening sequences in horror history. But beyond the scares, the film explored themes of loneliness, human resilience, and the fine line between civilization and chaos. Its success revitalized the zombie genre and inspired countless imitators, from The Walking Dead to World War Z. But what made 28 Days Later truly stand out was how it used horror as a backdrop for a story about humanity in the face of destruction. 5 years later, 28 Weeks Later, took the story in a darker, more action-driven direction. Directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, the sequel expanded the scope of the franchise, showing the efforts to rebuild and lock down London after the initial outbreak, only for things to spiral out of control again. If 28 Days Later was about the collapse, 28 Weeks Later was about the illusion of control. The opening sequence alone, featuring Robert Carlyle's gut-wrenching decision to abandon his wife, set the tone for a film that pulled no punches. With intense action and a bleaker worldview, the sequel proved that the rage virus wasn't going away anytime soon. Although some fans missed Boyle's more intimate, character-driven approach, 28 Weeks Later cemented the franchise as one of the most unflinching portrayals of societal breakdown in modern cinema. For years, rumours of a third installment circled the internet. Would Danny Boyle return? Could Cillian Murphy reprise his role? Would the franchise ever close its trilogy? Finally, in 2024, fans got their answer. 28 Years Later is officially happening, with Danny Boyle back in the director's chair and Alex Garland penning the script. We're getting the original creative duo together again for the first time since the 2002 classic. The film is set to explore the state of the world nearly 3 decades after the original outbreak. A bold time jump that opens up endless narrative possibilities. So what do we actually know about 28 Years Later? Besides the awesomely constructed trailer, we didn't get much clues to go off. So far we know that Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Ralph Fiennes are set to star, along with some familiar names rumoured to reprise their roles. That's an absolutely stacked cast, and it suggests we might be getting a more character-driven horror story. And the big question: will Cillian Murphy return as Jim? The answer: yes, well, in some form. Murphy is producing the film, and while he hasn't been officially confirmed to star, Boyle has hinted that his character could make an appearance. Could we see Jim decades later, trying to survive in a world still plagued by the virus? Danny Boyle has teased that the film will explore how the virus reshaped the world, hinting at a more expansive, possibly global story. As for the release date, the film is slated to hit theatres in late 2025, just in time to reignite the rage virus for a whole new generation. So what comes next? Here's where things get exciting. Rumours suggest that 28 years later is the start of a brand new trilogy, meaning the nightmare might not end anytime soon. With the world more fractured than ever, the franchise could tackle timely themes like authoritarian control, climate disasters, and the endless cycles of violence that follow every collapse. If the first two films taught us anything, it's that the scariest monsters aren't the infected. They're the people trying to survive at any cost. After years of silence, the 28 Days Later franchise is finally making its long-awaited return. And if Danny Boyle and Alex Garland's track record is anything to go by, we're in for something truly special. Whether you're a long-time fan or discovering the series for the first time, now is the perfect time to revisit the first two films and prepare for the chaos still to come. So, what do you think? What are you hoping to see in 28 years later? Do you think it can live up to the legacy of the first two films? And what do you want to see from the sequel? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the world of film and TV. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.